Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and a host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Imagine, just imagine, being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You start banging on the lid, pushing on the lid, but the weight of the enormous amount of dirt that's on the lid prevents you from opening that lid. You just think you're going to die. But then you say, maybe if I bang really hard, I might unsettle the dirt that's upon the lid, and maybe, just maybe, somebody might notice that's on top and start digging their way down to help me. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know where to turn. You just think you're going to die there. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind when you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might take something that was preciously given to you by the Lord Jesus, your life? That is a selfish act in itself, but it's even more selfish when you take your life, throw it away for drugs and alcohol, away from your children, your grandchildren, your loved ones. With this, let me leave one last thought upon you. Don't be the person that I'm reading about on these index cards that's in the coffin, alive still, now looking for help when it's too late. Instead, be a person that reaches out for help at 844-405-HELP, and I will reach to you, pull you in, and help you take your life back before your life is gone. There are people like Larry Geist from the Geist Academy. 516-458-2741. 516-458-2741. Larry Geist is an addiction recovery coach, a life coach. He will help you from your addiction to your recovery. He will, as I will, work with you and tell you it does not matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters most is that you are here today reaching out for help. And Larry Geist has over 30 years experience as a life coach, as an addiction recovery coach. You can Google him at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist will help you from your addiction and plan a road of recovery. He will teach you how to live in sobriety. He will help you with your depression to happier times, your low self-esteem. He will try to improve that, all outlined with a plan of a better tomorrow. 516-458-2741 is where you can find Larry Geist at the Geist Academy. www.odysseyconsultant.org. Folks, if you're watching me and you're either a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, and you have children that still live in your home, or you're around your grandchildren a lot, isn't it time that you lead by example? God has put adults on this earth. He allows you to, from childhood, become an adult for many reasons, but the most important reason is to bring the next generation to a better place in life. And if you drink, use profanity, or you smoke in front of your children, you are giving your children and your grandchildren a green light to do the same. Remember, the children and grandchildren look at you as the hero. They look at you as a role model. And what type of role model sits at the dinner table and drinks? What type of role model sits or walks around the house and smokes? And what type of role model uses profanity in front of children and grandchildren? Folks, if you are one of those that needs to drink and use profanity and smoke, do it outside your home. Because the children and the grandchildren have a monkey see, monkey do attitude. They will copy whatever you do because they think it's okay, because they think you are the hero. If you need to smoke, you need to drink and use profanity, take it somewhere else. Teach your children, give your children a better life than you might have. If you're smoking and drinking and using profanity, you already are having a hard life. Why pass that on to your children and your grandchildren? Let today be the first day of a brand new start, not only in your life, but in their life. Today's topic: court-ordered drug rehab addiction treatment. What you need to know If you're charged with nonviolent drug or alcohol-related crime, there's a reasonable chance that you can avoid prison by agreeing to get addiction treatment instead. Rules vary by jurisdiction and state, but in general, the three basic ways you can get treatment instead of jail are: the judge in the conventional criminal court may sentence you to some form of addiction treatment as part of your sentence. Number two, your lawyer might work out a deal with the prosecutor prior to appearing in court so that you can complete a certain period of treatment as part of your punishment. Three, you may have the opportunity to appear in drug court instead of conventional adult criminal court. Are you eligible, you might ask? Can you avoid prison by getting addiction treatment instead, you might ask? Maybe. Alternative sentencing laws vary by jurisdiction and state, but you should talk to your lawyer about the possibility of getting diverted to treatment instead of jail, especially if, listen to this, if this is your first or second offense and you have no history of violence or sexual assault, you have nonviolent offender and haven't committed a sexual offense, you've been arrested on drugs crime, were intoxicated or high when you were committed of your crime, and your addiction to drugs probably made you commit that crime. You are addicted to drugs and alcohol. You are willing and able to comply with any mandated treatment, and you are willing to plead guilty to your crime. In many states, after successfully completed a court-mandated treatment, your criminal record is expunged. What is drug court, you might ask? You may also be given the option to appearing in a drug court rather than a conventional adult criminal court. Within the justice system, drug courts operate to divert appropriate offenders out of the prison track and into addiction treatment. As of May 2012, there have been more than 2,600 drug courts in operation in the U.S. You cannot be forced to participate in a drug court. Participation is totally voluntary, but if you decide to participate, you will have to plead guilty to your crime and agree to participate in addiction treatment program. Some common components of drug court sentence include the following: a sentence length of between 1 and 2 years, mandatory treatment participation, no drug or alcohol use, frequent court appearance for progress reports, making restitution to victims, if any apply, by community service or repayment, rewards for program compliance, and sanctions for infractions like failed drug test, a weekend in jail, for example. Drug court can keep you out of prison, but only if you live up to your end of the bargain. Can forced treatment really work? Don't you have to want to quit, you might ask? Despite the popular belief that you must hit rock bottom before you can start to get better, people forced into treatment programs have similar outcomes to people that enter for any other reason. Interestingly enough, one factor that affected the success rates of both the coerced and voluntary treatment seekers was duration of treatment. Universally, people who stayed in treatment for a longer period had better outcomes than people who finished with treatment more quickly. Why does coerced treatment work just as well? It seems like you have to want treatment to have any hope of benefiting from it. After all, through courts can make you listen, they can't force you to really change your thinking. So why does it work then, you might ask? No one knows for sure, but common explanation is that though you might not want treatment at the beginning, you might also change your tune as the progress through the program, learn more, make gains, and feel better, start to see the life of recovery is not only possible, it's desirable. Sometimes it's just hard to see the possibility of better future through a foggy thinking of drug or alcohol addiction. In any case, one thing you can be sure is the addiction treatment works a whole lot better than prison and to reduce drug and alcohol use. Compared to non-treated offenders, criminal justice clients who completed a drug court-imposed sentence failed fewer drug tests, 29% versus 46%, were less likely to get rearrested, 52% versus 62%. Where can I find treatment programs that accepts court-ordered clients? To find out which facilities can treat court-ordered clients, visit Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, otherwise known as SAMHSA, state-by-state treatment locator. Google it. Just Google SAMHSA. SAMHSA. Choose your state from the drop-down menu. Call the contact number you find or follow a link to visit your state's substance abuse website. How much is court-ordered substance abuse treatment going to cost me, you might ask? In virtually all cases, you are responsible for finding and funding your court-ordered treatment. The cost can vary greatly depending on the type of treatment you need and the facility and program features and the amenities they offer. A one-day DUI course might cost a couple of $100. A multi-month intensive outpatient program might end up costing you, which is about a 28-day residential rehab, about $7,000 on the low end, and private care average about $19,000. And for an exclusive private facility, quite a bit more than this. If you cannot afford to pay the full price of treatment, you can likely find an approved facility that will offer treatment on sliding payment scale that is related to your income and ability to pay for the services. To search for affordable care, again, visit SAMHSA, which is SAMHSA treatment locator, and search for treatment in your state by the area code. When you define your search, make sure you click on the required button for criminal justice clients and treatment offered on a sliding scale basis. Court-ordered drug, rehab, addiction treatment you need to know. The judge in a conventional criminal court may sentence you to some sort of addiction treatment, or your lawyer could work out a deal with the prosecutor ahead of the court appearance to work out some sort of treatment. Or you might have the opportunity, in most states they have drug courts, there's over 2,600 nationwide. You might say, are you eligible? This is only if one of these apply to you. This is your first or second offense and you have no history of violence or sexual assault. You are a nonviolent offender and have not committed any sexual offense. You have been arrested on drugs crime, were intoxicated or high when you were arrested. Therefore, you can utilize that as a defense that because of the drugs and alcohol, you committed the crime. You're willing and able to comply with mandated court sanctions, and you're willing to plead guilty, and then after you complete the treatment, your record will be expunged. You might say, what is a drug court? A drug court can be given to you as an alternative to criminal court. Some common components of drug court sentencing include the following: a sentence length between 1 and 2 years, mandatory treatment participation, no drug or alcohol use whatsoever, frequent court appearances for progress updates, making restitution of victims, if any apply, via community service or repayment, rewards for program compliance and sanctions for infractions like drug tests. Can forced treatment really work? Don't I have to want to quit? Despite the popular demand that you have to wait until you hit rock bottom, if the court decides to send you in or you voluntarily check in, it's very effective. Why does coerced treatment really work that well? And it seems like if you want treatment to have any hope of benefiting from it, after all, through the courts can make you listen. They can't force you to really change your thinking. So, why does it work then? No one knows for sure, but common explanation is as though you might not want treatment at the beginning. You might also change your tune in progress through the program. Where can you find treatment programs that accept court-ordered clients? If you go to SAMHSA, SAMSHA, go to the drop-down menu, go to your state and call the number listed. How much is court-ordered substance abuse treatment going to cost? They do have ones that go by your ability to pay. Then you also have the 28-day residential rehab that can cost as low as $7,000, but can go as high as $19,000, and even more for your more private place that you might want to utilize as a facility. If you cannot afford to pay the full price of treatment, you can likely find an approved facility that will offer the treatment on a sliding payment scale that is related to your income and ability to pay for the services. Folks, to search for affordable care, visit SAMHSA's treatment locator. and search for treatment in your state by clicking on the area code that applies to you. When you define your search, make sure you click on the required button for criminal justice clients and treatment offered in a sliding scale. There is hope. If you have not committed a crime like a violent or a sexual crime, but you got arrested for DWI or possession, utilize the drug courts, utilize the system, utilize what's available to you, and get the help you need, because isn't it time for you to take your life back? If you need help, 844-405-HELP. I'm right here. You can reach out to Larry Geis at 516-458-2741. We are both standing by, waiting for your phone call, but you need to make that first step. Take the step, reach out, grab my hand, I will pull you in and help take your life back. I hope you have the best day in your life, but I hope and I pray you have a sober rest of your life, and may God bless each and every one of you.